So the question is now, what bike should I convert to an e-bike? I think I'm probably going to use my current bike, the one I take out on the trails. This is my Gravity Deadeye. It is a single speed, so the first thing we're going to do is take off the chain, and then we're going to remove the bottom bracket. So the chain is right here, so single speed chains, they're going to clip in. We have a snap-on, so there's this section right here. There's a little tiny piece that just snaps on. It's this piece right here, and you're literally just going to take it and you snap it into these two pieces right here. Super easy. We're just going to disconnect that and it'll all fall down, but you don't want to lose this. This is the master link thing. We need to clean it. Need to go get some more of that. Need to go get some more stuff to clean it, so we'll go ahead and clean it. We need to put some links back on it, so that's going to be a slight chore, but we'll get that done, and yeah, it'll be good. Okay, so here's the plan. I was deliberating on whether or not I should convert my single speed into an electric bike or not. That kind of seals the deal. I tried to get a different bike. I'm just going to keep it at a single gear. This is going to be a test run anyway. I could put it back together if I don't destroy my bottom bracket, which I'm really going to try not to do. And if it works, it won't destroy it, and I'll be able to convert it back into a normal bike if I want to. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean the old chain and make sure that that's nice. And of course, we're going to be using our favorite cleaner, kerosene. So remember, kerosene is just stinky. But it's literally the best cleaner, so I'm just taking these parts and I'm going to be dumping it in the kerosene, and we're just going to let it kind of just soak in kerosene for a while. This is actually the second batch of kerosene. The first batch of kerosene, it just brought in so much nasty gunk, and if you look at it, it's just been sitting in there, and there's just nasty grime just coming off of this, and it just falls off of it. You'll just see it literally just fall off this chain. So we're just gonna soak it in this, move it around a little bit, get the wiggly bits wiggling. Then we're going to hose it off with water real quick, and then we'll put everything back together, and then we'll go from there. All right, we are back on the bench. We've got our chain that's a lot cleaner. Not perfect. I don't know, we'd have to do it like 4 or 5 or 6 times to get every piece of dirt and grime out of there. But it's better, and that's great. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to join two of these two sections together of the chain. So these need to come back together because I need the chain as long as it can be when we're putting this back together. And I'm not sure exactly how we're supposed to do it, so I'm pretty sure I can just make it happen as long as I have a chain tool and a couple of these little tiny pieces right here. So I'm just joining it back onto the chain tool. That's going to be a little difficult, but we'll get there. Okay, so we've got it back on the chain. I just don't want it, so we got it connected back on. Now what we're doing is we're connecting it to this side of the chain tool. So it's going to be sitting, it's going to be tough to see. It's going to be sitting just like that in the chain tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this other piece, this piece, on the other side. I'm going to put the words on the outside. The trickiest part of this whole thing is lining it up, because you need to make sure it's 100% lined up before you start cranking on it with the chain tool. So now that's connected, but it's like seized up because it's not all the way through the other side of the chain. So we're going to flip it over. We're going to push it back through this section of the chain. There we go. That's it. Doesn't move quite as freely as the others just yet. The others move really freely. If you have a stuck chain like that and it won't straighten, what you're supposed to do is take the chain and you just go side to side like this, kind of just loosen it up, try and get it to sit inside its own little tracks, and see if you can have it do it again. See how it's still having that issue? So we're gonna try and just loosen it up. Maybe push this pin that way just a hair. Okay. Look at that. It's working. It's back to a standard chain. So yeah, just wiggling it back and forth. It's really funny. These pins are just, I mean, I'm really amazed at how that just kind of sits in there. So we use the Park tool, CT-5 chain tool, just to put that connection back in. The connection's looking good. It's really adjustable, works really well. We still have our snap-on master link, and we're gonna go ahead and take off the bottom bracket. So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna take a metric number 7, unscrew this bolt right here. Once that bolt is unscrewed, there are threads in here. So we're gonna thread this, make sure not to cross thread it. So we're just gonna screw this in till we get most of those threads in, till it starts to be tight. And when we twist this, it's going to pull the crank arm off. So we're not gonna need a new crank arm. We don't need to take off the pedals. We're just gonna take off this section. Then we can get to the bottom bracket area. So I had my wrench here, and then I have my wrench twisting this way, pulling that piece off. Now that it's out, I should be able to just pop this off. Okay, and this is called a square taper bottom bracket because it's square and it's tapered, and it's going to look like that on the inside. Then we can just take this tool off and do the other side. So now, if we clean off this intersection, there's a couple of different types. This one's just covered in grease because I did it that way. I put a decent amount of grease on here when I put it in last time. So we're going to go ahead and clean this section off here, and then there's going to be another tool, another specialty tool. So many specialty tools. This is going to be, it's called a Bike Hand YC26BB. I'm sure that stands for bottom bracket. Anyway, that goes right in there. And we're going to connect that to our ratchet wrench, and we just undo it. So I got it started with my tool. So again, the tool just slips on here, and then we're unscrewing it that direction. Once it's loose, you can just use your hand to unscrew this. This is the bottom bracket. So there's going to be one side that's just going to be a piece like this. This is a sealed bottom bracket, so the bearings aren't just sitting right here. I'm concerned about these threads on the inside right here. BBS02 just sits on those threads, and what it's going to do, it's going to destroy all of those threads in the bottom bracket. So that's my sealed bearing right there. And then what we'll do, we'll come on the other side, and we'll just disconnect this section over here too. Once we unscrew this, the whole thing will just slide right out. Cool? All right. Okay, this is kind of a messy way to record. I really need to get a stand or something. So, reverse threaded, threads this direction. We just unscrewed it, pops out. So this other section that we just pulled out sits right here, and it screws in. And then this piece spins. This is our bottom bracket. We now have our Lunicycle branded Bafang, I don't know how to pronounce it, Bafang, BBS02. So what we're just gonna do is we're just gonna take this. It's got all these connections on it that I should probably take off, but I'm not going to right now. And you're just gonna shove it through here. It's gonna look like that. And that, my friends, is how to mount a BBS02 on your bottom bracket. The tires need quite a bit of clearance, so here's the issue now. The BBS02 doesn't have enough room to sit inside here. The frame, this bar comes out way too far, and it's messing everything up, unfortunately. So to just recap everything in a concise way, what ended up happening is that my donor bike from Walmart did not work out, and we had to return it, due to the fact that it broke during shipping and then there was no way to purchase a new one. So I decided to use my existing bike, my Gravity Deadeye, as the donor bike, but right when we got to put on the bottom bracket, I realized that the chainstay was in the way of the bottom bracket and it was not going to work. So essentially, due to the very large 2.8-inch wheels, I wasn't able to accomplish that. So we're going to reverse everything, take the chain apart, put it back together the way it was before, put the bottom bracket back in place, make sure everything's working fine, put that bike back together as my main off-road bike without a motor, and then find a new donor bike for the e-bike. Spoiler alert, the donor bike ended up being Kyla's bike, which didn't have disc brakes, it had V-brakes, which I really wanted to avoid, but it was the only bike in my arsenal that actually had a bottom bracket that would kind of work for the BBS02. So that's what we ended up doing, and we'll talk about that in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.